Hello everybody, my name is Man and Spaniel and I'm going to read you a creepypasta. Now in the background you're most likely going to be seeing some Battlefield 3 gameplay of me playing with a friend. But because Windows I Move Maker fucking sucks in the anus, I can only mute the sound of one of them or not have this recording. So here goes. This is a Battlefield 3 creepypasta. I just searched it up on the interweb. It's called The Truth About Dice and Bf3. Like any good person. Let's begin. Oh yeah, this is written in the first person through the entire thing, and his grammar is amazing. Also, a few comments in between, but it's not such a long story, so I didn't think I had to have it. Also, a lot of shit starts with I. Anyways, let's begin. I used to be a fan of FPSs. Most of them until one day when I found out the truth. The truth about Battlefield 3. So this obviously, I haven't written this down, but this obviously ruined his entire first-person shooter life. It all started when I stopped playing Call of Duty Modern Warfare 3 as I got sick of it. I then looked for other games to play when I remembered that Battlefield 3 came out around the same time as MW3. I went to the nearest game store and found a copy of Battlefield 3. I then went to the store clerk and made my purchase. The clerk then said that would be $60. I gave my money and went back home to install the game. Once finished, I said to myself, let's get started, shall we? Now, just a quick comment. You don't have to tell everybody how much you paid. Just for a tip. I gave my money and went back home to install the game. Once finished, I said to myself, oh yeah, shit. uh, I have to say, the multiplayer was great. Even better than Call of Duty, so obviously this is made to spark a flame war. After an hour, I decided to play the single player campaign. The first level was really easy. I then thought to myself that this will be a breeze. But when I went to the second level, the enemies were smarter and dead shots too. It was as if real human players were the enemies, like in multiplayer. Well, if they're dead shots, no. I then thought to myself that this will be a breeze. Oh, shit. I keep reading the wrong line. Fuck. Hopefully I'm not gonna swear anymore. Sorry. I thought the programmers must have done a great job. But being a hacker, I then hacked the game files to try and make the enemies easier. But what I found shocked me beyond belief, even to this day. Yes, he's a hacker, of course. That makes him obliged to hack the game to make it easier. The files for the multiplayer and single player were exactly the same. This seemed odd. I know this because I have hacked other game files before, and they were completely different, but this was something. I then proceeded to contact the game's lead programmer, or former lead programmer, Christopher Benge. I believe it's Christopher. Now, he has to impress everybody by saying he's hacked other games, you know? Not just Battlefield 3, he can hack anything he wants to, because he's a hacker. I contacted him, and we agreed to talk via video call on Skype. We had a good time talking a while about his career during his time in DICE, the company that made Battlefield. Sorry. Too boring. When I asked him about Battlefield 3's single player, his face suddenly went, as if he was scared. He then frantically said, do not mention that game. It was why I left DICE in the first place. After that, the call ended. I just have to get to the bottom of this, so I prepared myself to go to DICE personally. Okay. I was reading that as if someone was actually, saying it, because there's whatever. Over there, I went to the security officer at the front door and demanded that I see the CEO immediately. He said, "What for?" And I told him about Battlefield 3. On hearing those words, he told me to leave right away. Why? He said the CEO gave him specific orders to do so. I then waited for the company to close and meet the CEO myself. 3 hours later, a guy with bloodshot eyes came out. I wasn't surprised by this, as developers like these spend many hours on the computer. I then asked him how he was, and he just muttered to himself repeatedly, "Must kill Sergeant Blackburn." And obviously, Sergeant Blackburn is the main character of the game. I then asked him why. The question mark has no space between the next word, so black mark. He staggered out, and once he left my view, I waited for the company to close and search for any clues. So, he staggered out, and once he left my view, I waited for the company to close. Okay, so, the grammar is amazing. That entire sentence doesn't make sense, so just listen. He staggered out, and once he left my view, comma, I waited for the company to close, comma, and searched for any clues. Full stop. So once he left his view, he waited for the company to close, which he already was doing, so he could just stand there anyway. Another black mark. Once DICE was closed, I snuck in and searched the whole company on the whole floor plan. I saw nothing that caught my eye. I then decided to take the elevator and saw an 11th floor, which was out of place as the floor plan only showed 10. On pushing this button and reaching that floor, there was one room, and one room only. Looking through the door's window was a sight I will never forget. In the room, I saw players being forced to play Battlefield 3, men with bloodshot eyes, comma, and no space, another black mark. Some noticed me and tried to bust down the door down. Some just couldn't take it and did horrible, horrible things to themselves. Some gouged their eyes out. Some banged their heads against the monitor screen so hard their heads were crushed beyond recognition. I think the screen. Others just lay dead down there, half decomposed. I nearly vomited upon the sight, remembering the man earlier that came out. I knew what torture he went through. I found out that earlier that day, the man had escaped during the daily inspection of the room. Now, let's be honest. How did he find that out? I went back straight home, reflecting on this event. Those poor souls in the room. On reaching home, I contacted Christopher again and told him what I had witnessed. He then told me everything. When the game was being tested during Q&A with the first level, they said that the game was too easy. When the CEO was notified, he flew into a rage, and after that, he suddenly just calmed down. On calming down, he then turned into a different man and relieved all the programmers of their duties, but not without forcing them to create servers within the single-player campaign first. He then forced the programmers to play Battlefield 3 with the single-player servers for the rest of their days. Christopher found out about this and left without consultation from the CEO. After this experience, I never dared to touch a DICE or Battlefield game ever again. What I have found has scarred me for life. I will never forget what I have saw, and I will give you this and I have given you this message. Please take it to heart. Never buy a game from DICE again. So yes, the moral of the story is DICE are anti-human rights, and that's this guy's way of telling it. And that this guy's way of telling it, is to abandon their games, you know, like not call the police. And the actual story itself was okay at the least. It wasn't horrible, but it just told you that if you see people torturing themselves because no one will help their souls, don't call the cops or anything. This text also didn't really benefit from its setting, so it sets you up as if this dude can do everything, such as talk to anyone he wants, fly anywhere he wants to with planes, skip work, sneak into buildings which most likely are full of security measures. I mean, it really isn't something I recommend you to read. I will see you next time.